it should be.
Okay.
And it, it doesn't need to be exactly, but that general area, and to have your thumb and first finger like that, and then just gently wrap your hands around like ice cream. So now we have this settled. So this, okay, we're gonna start in set position. So can you describe set position to me?
Set position is when you have the stick at a little bit below 9th degree angle. The endpoints of your stick are half an inch apart, and yeah, that's about how much.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty simple. It's just the starting point that you start at before you start drumming. So everything's neutral, and at this position, at set position, you should look to make sure that there's some stick coming out from the end of your hand, and that it's kind of in line with the natural flow of your arm. And what confused me is like that made me think like, okay, if it needs to be in line with my arm, it needs to be like this. That's not how it is. It's just the natural flow of your fingers. It should just rest in there nicely. Yeah. So in set position, or do we play? So there's like 3 areas of the drum, right? There's the dead center, and then the like middle ring, and then the like edge and the rim. So where do we normally play on the drum?
I would guess dead center.
Okay.
But I'm sure that'll be a very abrupt sound.
Right.
So I would also say you should play in the middle.
Yeah. Normally in drums, in general, the dead center is more of a dead sound because of the vibration. The way that the vibrations are in the middle, it just goes down and up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't resonate throughout the rest of the drum. But if we do it a little bit off center, it has a better, clearer, well, not better, just a different, clearer sound that we use for general playing. So yeah, so if you go to the middle and then a little bit up, that's generally a good playing spot for what we're going to do. So now that we got all that settled and set up, because we need good fundamentals, we're going to start with some monotone strokes just to get our hands moving and warmed up. And you don't want to start jumping in too fast because then you'll just ruin everything. Oh, sorry. That's okay. Okay, yes. So I'm going to turn on the metronome. And then we are going to, let me make it slower. Okay, so this is quarter notes.
Okay.
And we're going to do exercise 1A, which is 8th notes, and just the right hand.
Okay.
So, here, one thing, let's review really fast. Okay. So there's 3 different playing positions, as we can see here. So there's set, high, and low. We already went over set, and then what's low?
Low is when you bring the endpoints of your stick lower to the pad.
Low, see, this is kind of confusing, because low is actually higher than set.
Oh.
So low is from set, you bring it up like about 2 inches.
Okay.
And then high playing is higher than low, and it's 6 to 9 inches.
Okay.
So let's just go through that a little bit before we start drumming. So set, and then low, and then high, low, set, high, low, set. Good. And when we go to high, we don't want to whip our hand back because that causes tension right here.
Okay.
Also, when you're playing high, the beads of the stick come apart, but that's okay. That's supposed to happen because if you try to keep them together, it just hurts.
Gotcha.
So let's not do that. So, yeah, now that we went over that. We're gonna do this 1A with the right hand in low playing position, but we're gonna start and set. So let's do 2 bars of quarter notes and then go to the eighth notes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Remember low. Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Watch your playing position on the pad. Make sure it's a little bit up. Yeah. Okay. Now we're going to switch to the left hand when I count. I'll give you a bar, and then we'll switch to the left hand, okay? Still at low. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to bring in both of the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Good. So that's a good basic warm up. So when you're drumming on this pad, what kind of like what kind of response is it giving you? Like what does it feel like?
Well, I know it should feel some resistance, i.e. rebound.
Yes. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm getting at. So snare naturally has rebound, opposed to other percussion instruments like other keyboard instruments, they don't have any rebound, so you have to create it. On snare drum, it has its own, so you have to control it. So it's like kind of flipped. So, yeah, in order to do that, you just need to have your fingers. So do you remember the basketball analogy? Did he do that with you?
He did.
Okay, so when you're, I wish I had a basketball, but when you're playing basketball and you're bouncing it, there's 2 things that go into it. First, you put velocity into the basketball to push it down in order so it has enough energy to bounce back up. And then, so let's say I bounce it down and then I just kept my hand there in this position. What would happen?
It would
come up and jam my finger. So, in order to accept the rebound, your hand needs to be flexible enough to do that. So it needs to be flexible. So when we're translating that to snare drum, we need to put enough force or velocity into the bead to the drum with our hand or whatever muscle group we're using. And then, in order to accept the rebound to play the next note, our fingers and muscles just need to be relaxed enough to take it back so it doesn't just disappear. So then we can, do you understand what I'm saying about that, accepting? So you can use your fingers for that. So another question about that, when we're doing this, what muscle groups are you using for this exercise?
I would say wrists and fingers.
And then just a little bit of arms, just because your hands are attached to your arms.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, you're not like going like this. You're mostly just using your wrist and then your fingers to control the rebound, really.
Gotcha.
And your wrist. But yeah, so let's, we warmed up on that, so now let's go to this exercise. So this exercise has 16th notes. So we need to do that. Yeah, so this bar, the first bar of this exercise is the same as first exercise we did, and then it just adds 16th notes, which we will be natural sticking that. So just